Ukrainian defenders have destroyed 10 Russian field artillery units, 2 command posts, 4 ammunition storage points, an electronic warfare system and other Russian targets over the past 24 hours. Source: General Staff of the Armed Forces of Ukraine on Facebook. Information is of 6 o'clock on the 26th of June. Quote: Russian terrorists launched another missile and airstrike against Ukraine last night, the 25th to the 26th of June, ed. Information about the aftermath of this terrorist attack is currently being confirmed. Details: During the past day, Russian forces launched a missile attack on the territory of Ukraine, using 6 S-300 guided anti-aircraft missiles against civilian facilities in Zaporizhia Oblast. In addition, they conducted 33 airstrikes, and also carried out over 45 attacks from multiple launch rocket systems (MLRS). Civilians have been wounded in residential buildings, outbuildings and administrative buildings, as well as private vehicles, have been damaged as a result of the Russian terrorist attacks. Russian forces continue to focus their main efforts on the Lyman, Bakhmut and Marinka fronts, with a total of over 36 combat engagements occurring there during the day. On the Severshina and Slobozhanshina fronts, Russian forces conducted an airstrike near the village of Zelin, Kharkiv Oblast. They deployed mortars and artillery to fire on the settlements of Remyachka and Timonovichi in Chernihiv Oblast, Kodyne, Malushine, Kazakh, Vorozhba, Iskryskivshina, Pavlivka, Katerinivka in Sumy Oblast, and Yudi, Veterinary, Baranov, Kazaka Lopan, Krasny, Staricha, Ohertsev, Hatish, Vovchansk, Bochko, Okrymivka, Mykolivka, Nestern, Budarki, Krul, Zemlyanki, Vilkuvatka, Chuhunivka, Hurahorivka and Odradna in Kharkiv Oblast. On the Kupiansk front, Russian forces conducted unsuccessful offensive actions in the area west of Krivashivka, Luhansk Oblast. They launched airstrikes in the vicinity of Kyslivka and Kotlyarivka in Kharkiv Oblast. Kolodyazne, Krasny Persh, Fyholivka, Novomlinsk, Vorokna, Zapadna, Mashutivka, Kyslivka and Berestov in Kharkiv Oblast were attacked from artillery and mortars. On the Lyman front, Russian forces conducted unsuccessful offensive operations near Vesel and Rozdalivka in Donetsk Oblast. Airstrikes were carried out near the settlements of Torsky, Dubrova, Bilohorivka, Zavanivka and Spern. Nevsky and Bilohorivka in Luhansk Oblast and Torsky, Serebryanka, Verkhnekamiansk, Spern and Rozdalivka in Donetsk Oblast came under Russian artillery fire. On the Bakhmut front, Russian forces made unsuccessful attempts to advance on Mankivka, Hurahorivka and Bodanivka in Donetsk Oblast. They conducted airstrikes near Kromov and Suka Balka in Donetsk Oblast. Vashukivka, Mankivka, Orikovo-Vasilivka, Bodanivka, Chasev Yar, Ivanovsky, Ozaryanivka and New York in Donetsk Oblast were the target of Russian artillery attacks. On the Avdiivka front, Russian forces conducted an airstrike in the vicinity of Avdiivka and deployed artillery to fire on Berdichi, Avdiivka, Vodian, Karlivka and Pervomaysk in Donetsk Oblast. On the Marinka front, Russian forces made an attempt to advance near Marinka, but were unsuccessful. They also conducted an airstrike near Krasnohorivka. At the same time, they fired artillery on the settlements of Hostre, Georgivka and Marinka in Donetsk Oblast. On the Shakhtarsk front, Russian forces conducted unsuccessful offensive actions toward Novomykhailivka. Airstrikes were carried out near Prekostivka and Blahodatna. The settlements of Pereskoviivka, Novomykhailivka, Vuhledar, Starozhev, Makarivka, Novosilka and Novopil in Donetsk Oblast were attacked. Russian forces on the Zaporizhia and Kherson fronts are focusing their efforts on preventing the advance of Ukrainian forces. Russian troops made an unsuccessful attempt to recapture their positions in the vicinity of Novodorivka in Zaporizhia Oblast. They conducted airstrikes near Levadna and Novodanilivka in Zaporizhia Oblast. They shelled around 30 civilian settlements, including Temirivka, Novodorivka, Levadna, Olhaivsky, Malinivka, Zeleny High, Zadishia and Huliaipol in Zaporizhia Oblast, Nikopol in Dnepropetrovsk Oblast, Milov, Berislav, Kozatsky, Elvo, Mykilsky, Antonivka, Zelenivka, Kherson, Dniprovsky in Kherson Oblast, and Oshakiv in Mykolaiv Oblast. Over the course of the past day, Ukrainian aircraft carried out 8 airstrikes on areas where Russian military personnel were concentrated. Ukraine's defense forces also destroyed 6 Russian operational tactical reconnaissance drones. Units from Ukraine's rocket forces and artillery struck 2 Russian command posts, 3 clusters of Russian military personnel and equipment, 4 ammunition storage points, an electronic warfare system, 10 field artillery units and 3 other Russian targets. Russian sabotage group attempted to enter Ukraine's Sumy Oblast, General Staff report. A Russian sabotage and reconnaissance group made an unsuccessful attempt to enter Ukraine near the village of Rodionivka in Sumy Oblast. Russian forces also conducted unsuccessful offensive operations on the Lyman, Bakhmut and Marinka fronts. Source: General Staff of the Armed Forces of Ukraine on Facebook. Information is of 1800 on the 25th of June. Details: Russian forces launched 6 S-300 guided anti-aircraft missiles on civilian facilities in Zaporizhia Oblast on the night of the 24th to the 25th of June. Russian forces also conducted 25 airstrikes and deployed multiple launch rocket systems (MLRS) in more than 30 further attacks on positions of Ukrainian troops and on civilian settlements. Russia continues to focus its main efforts on the Lyman, Bakhmut and Marinka fronts. A total of over 20 combat engagements occurred between Russian and Ukrainian forces on these fronts over the course of the day. The operational situation on the Volyn and Polishcha fronts remains much the same as before. There is no evidence that Russia is forming new offensive units on these fronts. On the Severshchina and Slobozhenshchina fronts, Russia continues to maintain its forces and to conduct sabotage and reconnaissance operations in areas near the Russian-Ukrainian border. Over the course of the past day, a Russian sabotage and reconnaissance group made an unsuccessful attempt to enter Ukraine in the vicinity of the village of Rodionivka in Sumy Oblast. The group sustained losses and retreated. Over the course of today, the 25th of June, Russian forces also deployed mortars and artillery to fire on Remyachka and Timonovichi Chernihiv Oblast, Kodyne, Malashine, Kazakh, Vorozhba, Iskryskivshchina, Pavlivka, Katerinivka, Sumy Oblast, and Udi, Veterinard, Haranov, Kazaka Lopan, Krasny, Starykha, Ohertsev, Hatish, Vovchansk, Bochkov, Okremivka, Mykolivka, Nestern, Budarki, Krul, Zemlyanki, Vilkuvatka, Chuhunivka, Hurahorivka and Odradna, Kharkiv Oblast. The General Staff of Ukraine's Armed Forces reported on June 25 that Russia has lost 224,630 troops in Ukraine since the beginning of its full-scale invasion, with an estimated 720 casualties on June 24.